Hi there everybody, Susan here with Pumpkin Hill Stampers. I have a Stampin' Show and Tell for you today. It is Friday and it's one of those weeks when I'm doing the trio of cards. So on Monday we did simple stamping. Here was the simple stamping card we did on Monday, just paper, ink, and stamps. And we added a layer of Designer Series paper in there to match the Stampin' Up challenge for February. Then on Wednesday we did the Step It Up stamping card where I added another layer of cardstock. We stamped a background. I cut that DSP down a little bit. We edged the DSP and our tag with some ink and we put it all together. Okay, and then today we're going to do this over the top stamping card where you can see I've got a different color card base. This is Gorgeous Grape. Then I'm trimming down the Highland Heather using the new rectangular stitched framelits. Okay, that's in the spring catalog. I'm also adding a layer of vellum. Then we're going to do a tag to make the happy birthday, and we're going to create these cute cupcake die embellishments, okay, with the new detailed birthday edgelets. So this one's really over the top. It's, like I said, an over the top card. So let's go ahead and get started, and we'll do this card today. Alright, so let's start by making sure we have all of our elements to make the card. Now I've done some of the Big Shot work ahead of time just to save a little time. So I have my envelope, I have my card base here, okay, like I said, Gorgeous Grape, and I have a white liner for the inside. I have a piece of Highland Heather, okay, and I've just taken the largest framelit and I've die cut that on the Big Shot already. So just peel off that extra and then I just kind of push it through this way to free it. Okay, so there's our layer. Then we've got our DSP layer. Now I didn't do anything to that layer. It's just like the one I used on Tuesday, just cut down to a smaller size. Then I have a piece of vellum. Okay, and this one I also ran through with the next size down rectangular stitched frame. If I just pop that out, we'll have our third layer for the front of the card. Okay, now let's bring in the Big Shot and cut our cupcake, shall we? So let me move these up for a minute. So I just have a piece of thick Whisper White cardstock. I'm bringing in my Big Shot machine. Make sure this is on camera properly. There we go. Alright, so I've got the precision plate on my standard base. I'm going to put my cardstock down. And then this edgelet does not have a cutting edge at the bottom. It has a cutting edge all around the detailed parts of the image and across this top ridge, but not the bottom. So if you were to line this up or put this in the center of a piece of cardstock, I have one, I'll show you. You'll get a different result than what I'm doing here. So what I'm doing here is I'm putting the edgelet close to the bottom of my cardstock there. Okay, then I'm going to put my plate on top. And I'm just going to run that through. Let's go slow so that I don't shake the table too much on video. There we go. Make sure that looks like it cut through. It does. Move this guy out of the way. And so now here's our piece, and I'm just going to peel that top cut segment off, right? That's all free. Now I've got that in there, I've got to free that. Now you can either come along and pull, or you can use your die brush. I'm going to use my die brush. So with it still in its die, I'm going to start rubbing over the top just to loosen it so it'll come out. Now the more you press on that, the more of these detailed little die cuts will come out too. See if I can get that out good. Alright, so here's my cupcakes. Now most of my little embellishment pieces in the cupcake paper stayed in, so I like that. Sometimes they come out completely, this one. See? But then all these little pieces that did the cupcake toppers, they do come out because they're pretty big. But just think if you had a second piece of colored paper, you could piece those back in. So another idea for another day. Alright, so we now have our cupcakes. And I'm going to go ahead and use the one that has all the little bits still in there. But let me show you. So this one I cut right at the bottom of the edge. This one I cut a little above the bottom of the edge, and see how I have more space here? And then this one I cut at the top of a piece of paper. And so now I've got all of this on the bottom that I can decorate and use to stamp my words on. So lots of different ideas you can do with this fun die. So we'll definitely play with that some more. Okay, so let's go ahead, clear off some of these things so we can work. Alright, let's start putting our card together. Now, I'm going to put my piece of Highland Feather directly onto my gorgeous grape. Okay, so I'm just centering this on the front of my card. Now from there, I'm going to add my DSP. This DSP is going under the vellum layer, so it's going to kind of show through, but not be the main top layer of the card. And then I have my vellum, which is going to go over the top. Now when you put adhesive on vellum, you usually see it, but we're going to put this embellishment on there. So that's where I'm going to put my adhesive strip to hold that vellum down. So this part's going to be free, but I'm going to adhere it along the bottom. So I'm just going to put some adhesive right on the front of my card there. Then I'm going to put this down over the top. Now, I haven't stamped yet, have I? I'm going to stamp now, and the reason I waited till now is so that all my layers are lined up, and now I can see where I'm stamping on my vellum in the center of my card. If you feel better stamping that vellum first and then letting it dry, remember vellum takes longer to dry, you go ahead and then put your vellum piece on. But I'm feeling if I stamp incorrectly for some reason on this vellum, I can always peel it back off because I'm only tacked down there at the bottom, and that's going to get hidden behind these, so I'm not going to have a problem. So I'm going to stamp this right over the top. Give it a good press, but not rock, and peel. Okay, now like I said, it does take vellum longer to dry. So if I were to touch that with my fingers right now, it's going to smear. I don't want to do that. You could heat set it with a gun, but sometimes it fades. So if you can just let it sit and dry, that's your best bet. So that's what we're going to do. Okay, so now we're going to add our cupcakes. Okay, so my cupcakes are going to go about that. I'm going to trim off these little ends here. I'm going to trim them off if I had a pair of scissors. Lately I don't have scissors here when I want them. So I'm going to just do it the dirty way and rip it. So don't tell. It's our secret today. Alright, so there is my cupcakes. And I'm going to put adhesive right on the back. And then I'm going to put this down on my card. So great texture, great element, not too big, not too small. Now we've got to do our happy birthday here. So I'm using the triple banner punch. You've seen me do this before, but I'm going to do it again. Now the triple banner punch comes to do 1 inch, 1.5, and 2 inch pieces of cardstock. This is only a 1/2 inch piece of cardstock. So what I do is I flip it over, I slide my cardstock in, and I try to center it on the V here, and I cut my end. Okay, so just because it's not exactly the size of the punch doesn't mean you can't use it for what you need. And then on there I'm going to stamp from the set Happy Birthday. Nice that I can see through my imagery right there. And then I'm going to put that up on dimensional. So I'm just going to use a strip here right along the edge. Okay, and then this is going to go right across here. Now look, I'm going to hide up those torn edges. No one's going to know. Don't tell. And then, now I do need my scissors. All right, I have to get my scissors done. This one I don't want to rip. All right, so then I'm just going to bring my scissors up, snip, and I'm done. So there are our cards. And then on this one for the envelope, I've been doing the cake, but this one I'm going to add the flower from the set. So there we have it. So we started with simple stamping at the beginning of the week. Then we moved on to stepped up stamping. And then we moved on to over the top stamping. Okay, very similar cards, but yet they're different for different levels of your stamping ability. But don't feel nervous about trying something new. Try it. Try something new. If it doesn't work out, try again. That's how we get better at things. So I hope you enjoyed the series this week. Love your comments below. Go on over to the website, leave me a comment there on the blog post. That makes me even more excited. And join the Show and Tell newsletter if you haven't already. Get all the PDF tutorials and see what else is going on. Alright everybody, if you shop online, use my host code. It's much appreciated. And as a thank you, you get entered into the end of the month drawing for free shipping. So it's a win-win for both of us. Alright everybody, have a great weekend. Do some fun stamping. Enjoy your families. And I'll see you next week. Thanks. Bye-bye.